Modern physics tells us that there are four fundamental forces in nature. Uh, electromagnetism, the strong force that binds the protons in the nucleus to one another, as well as the neutrons, the weak force, whereby neutrons in the nucleus decay into protons and electrons and create isotopes, and finally gravity. Four forces. But actually, Nikola Tesla and then Arnold Sommerfeld developed a classical theory. They augmented the free space Maxwell's equations with the equations for fluid mechanics, where the fluid was the ether, the foam that makes up the space around us. It's a quantum foam, it's discrete. The little packets of space can contain at most two different fermions, and they can be stretched. We saw this with the notion of inflation, where space gets stretched 30 orders of magnitude, no less. So having said that, we end up with those equations with just one set of equations whereby the strong force and electromagnetism are things at different scales. At far scales, we end up with positive and negatives attracting and likes, positives and negatives repelling. But at close scales, it flips completely in the nucleus. So positives attract and negatives attract, but positive and negatives repulse one another. That takes us over to the weak force, whereby in the nucleus, neutrons decay, and so you end up with an extra proton every time this occurs in the nucleus, and that creates what's called an isotope. We have the same number of electrons in the cloud around the nucleus, but we have an extra proton. And what about gravity? Well, gravity is actually just the change in density of space. So in some areas of space, the ether is very dense, strong gravity. In other areas, it's very thin or diffuse. And so the density is very, very low. And there you have it. And this is all well known to the Black Ops crew, and they've known it since the 1930s, but refused to release this knowledge to be commercialized on a global scale.